Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Hall. You may call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show, and we're going to cover a couple of stories this morning. It'll inform you, maybe it'll make you laugh a little bit. We'll see what happens, right? If you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, you will see that I interact with people on YouTube in the chat just because I can see their chat on the streaming service that I use. If you want to join us, if you want to have an active conversation, come on over to YouTube and we can do that. All right, let's do the first story. Candace Owens versus Meghan McCain. Now, some of you, we talked about Candace Owens yesterday, and Candace Owens, who is the poster child for stupid and confident. Stupid and confident. It's so many times we see this with conservatives, right? Not too bright, but they're really loud about it. And Miss Owens is not too bright and really loud about it. But let's put a pin on Candace Owens. Let's talk about Meghan McCain. Of course, she is the daughter of now deceased John McCain, senator from Arizona. Meghan McCain was on the show, the talk show The View, for a number of years. She was a conservative on The View. And Meghan McCain, she's the kind of conservative that named her child Liberty. Brilliant name. A little on the nose for me. She also, I believe she calls herself a social liberal and a fiscal conservative. And I have to tell you something, everyone. People who call themselves social liberals and fiscal conservatives do not understand how society works or how economies work either. Because you see, when you're saying that you're a social liberal, and a fiscal conservative, what you're saying is that even though I support the welfare of other people, I'm going to undercut that by not funding basic programs to support basic rights like food, education, clean drinking water, clean air. So once again, that's Meghan McCain right there. So let's get right into the story. The links are in the description below, everyone. Oh, this is the beef. We're going to get right into the beef. So as you all know, if you were watching the show yesterday and the day before, because this has been like a heavy Candace Owen week, which I never thought I would say that on this show because we try to do real news here. But this is so crazy. So Candace Owen, she had an interview with Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump rebuked her and said, hey, the vaccines are working. People should be taking the vaccines. And Candace Owens basically replied on her Instagram saying that, hey, the only reason why Donald J. Trump is now in favor of vaccines is because he's too old to read information on the internet. Her words, not mine. So Meghan McCain said, hey, Candace Owens, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. I'm sorry, I had to say that. Meghan McCain just basically called out Candace Owens and said, you don't know what you're talking about. And then things escalated quickly. Trump schooling Candace Owens with facts and logic regarding getting the vaccine is really a sight to behold. Credit where credit is due, and I hate the guy. Anyone who's been paying any attention to politics over the last 5 years or so knows that there's beef between the McCain family and with Donald J. Trump. But even now, Meghan McCain saying, hey, it was pretty wonderful seeing Trump schooling Candace Owens. Now, Candace Owens, being a grifter that she is, was not going to let that just sit there. She saw an opportunity to grab the limelight, and that is what she did. Hey, Meghan. Oh, I can't do her voice well. Hey, Meghan. I'm going to do Lumpy Space Princess. Hey, Meghan. Did you know that the overwhelming majority of people dying and or being hospitalized from COVID-19 are clinically obese? People like you love the vaccine because it allows you to pretend that you care about health. People like me see right through your bullshit. actually the people, and we're doing a whole story. We're spending the last third of the show talking about who is dying from COVID-19, what counties are being affected, what areas in the country are not doing well with COVID-19. And there are graphs, there are infographics, but I'm getting ahead of the story, everyone. So this was Candace Owens, of course, spinning the information in the way that you would expect Candace Owens to do it, in a mean, not that smart, but very loud kind of way. And this goes back and forth before Meghan McCain decides to drop the F-bomb. So this is Candace Owens. If we go down to the bottom, you're slipping into utter irrelevancy, and it's sad to watch. Do you want to come on my show, Meg? Just say the word, and I'll have my producers reach out. And that's what Candace Owens said. And Meghan McCain said, coming from the woman who did an entire Instagram live tonight, talking about at length about how obese I am, as opposed to addressing the fact that her hero fact checker, you spread misinformation about the safety of vaccines. You are a danger to public health. Get effed. Oh, Meghan McCain. I'm not a big fan of Meghan McCain, but anyone who tells Candace Owens to go get effed, you're not doing too badly in my books. Job well done. Going to check out the chat, see how everyone's doing this lovely day. Tesla Ranger. This is yes. I want good things. I just don't want to pay for them. I want to have a safe society. I don't want to pay for them. I want a healthy society. I don't want to pay for them. I want smart people around me who understand science and will take the vaccines, but I won't pay for them. This is what fiscal conservatives say. Fiscally conservative, but societally, socially liberal. They do not understand the implications of their actions. All right. Good morning, Jess M. I hope you're doing well. And Dee Parks. Hey. Glad to see. Hey, Facebook user. I can see your comment. This is fantastic. I'm happy. What happened to having conservatives who are decent folks you could nicely disagree with, and they really wanted the best for the country? You could reach out on an agreement. Oh, those days are gone, unfortunately. Those days are gone. What's up, Kat the humanist? Howdy, Paul. David, right there. David Paul. Howdy, all. David Paul. Hope you're doing well this morning. Good morning, Tobin. Simply Secular Day from the West Coast, and that is from the West Coast of Canada, everyone. Good morning, MC Fractal. I hope you and the cats are doing well. All right. As many of you know, this show goes until 9:25, and then we're doing the after party after show at 9:30 to 10:30. If you want to be on the panel, then please be part of the community. Make sure that you are known to us or have someone in the chat or on the panel vouch for you. That would be fantastic because we have spammers, everyone. We have spammers. All right. You want to do the next story? What is the next story? This is a very good question. We could talk about COVID, or we could talk about San Francisco-based DoorDash is requiring engineers to deliver food, and they're furious. OMG, that sounds like it's just a gimmick. Doesn't it sound like it's just a gimmick? DoorDash requiring non-DoorDashers to deliver food. It sounds like a gimmick. DoorDash, the food delivery app based out of San Francisco, is requiring all its non-delivery employees, including CEO Tony Zhu, to do a dash once a month, and some employees are seemingly furious. I would imagine the people who are furious are the everyday drivers in the cars, because they're not employees, as we probably know at this point, right? They're independent contractors, and that means they don't get any benefits. So they could work 40, 50, whatever, how many hours a week, and they still don't get any paid time off. They don't get any sick time. That's the real crime here. Market Watch first reported that the WeDash program, which was launched when the service was founded, is making its return in January after being paused during the pandemic. A spokesperson for DoorDash confirmed its return to SF Gate. That's the name of the magazine. But a 1,500 comment thread on Blind, the anonymous social media platform for techies and other white-collar types, was started last week by one disgruntled DoorDash worker. The interesting thing about Blind is that the site does confirm who you are behind the scenes. You have to use a login email from the company that you say that you work with. So it isn't just people anonymously spamming the site. An engineer with a reported total compensation, or TC, of $400,000 a year griped about the responsibility of having to do a once-a-month delivery. What the actual F, the engineer wrote on the platform. I didn't sign up for this. There was nothing in the offer letter job description about this. This is what happens when you don't have unions. This is what happens. Basically, when you get a confirmation letter that you're going to be working for a company, typically with your list of responsibilities, there'll be a line that says whatever your boss wants you to do. Sure, it's phrased differently than that, but that's basically it. Employers want to leave it open-ended so they can tell you what to do. Things that you may not have agreed to when you first signed up for the job. Blind requires all users to register using an email for the company they're employed with, meaning the likelihood of this post being falsified are slim. For employees unable to do deliveries, there are other programs in place to work with service employees and businesses. The program was launched, a spokesperson said, to learn firsthand how the technology products we build empower local economies, which in turn helps us build a better product. Employees then gain credits through these services, which are reportedly built into an annual review. The monies made during the deliveries will be donated to a nonprofit, the spokesperson said. So the engineer, CEO, they go out there once a month, supposedly, to make a delivery. And I don't know about you, chat. I don't know about you, people who are watching, but I wouldn't want my food being delivered by a person who only DoorDashes once a month. I want a professional DoorDasher, a person who knows my route, knows where the restaurant is, can get back here. I just don't want someone who's disgruntled. I don't want a disgruntled employee like that engineer who's making $400,000 a year delivering my food. That's just me. I don't know what you think about all of this. I'm going to check out the chat. My son actually DoorDashed for a while before he started going to college, and he's no longer a DoorDasher, did not speak highly of the organization. What's up, Blazing Wizard Pope? You'll see that a lot of the people here, we have an international flavor to our show, to the people in the chat. Blazing, Denmark, you got the couple of people from Canada. I know the word. It's just a joke here. Dee Parks, how are you doing this morning? John Hudson. This is a good point, John Hudson. I can't do this. I don't want my Tesla smelling like KFC. I can see a lot of people who are engineers making bank don't want to deliver extra crispy buckets in their car because of that reason. I always like this. I always like the smell of extra crispy myself. MC Fractal points out, hey, the like button is crying to be smashed. Yes, it is. And thank you for noting that. All right. We're already halfway through the show. If this is your first time around the midpoint of this show, we do some cats. We just take a look at a funny, it helps us. It helps put a smile on our faces, everyone. And that's what we're going to do right now. The halftime tummy rub. You could tell that cat was ready to pop. It was just waiting to spring on that drone. Very satisfying. I found that very satisfying. Okay. Let's do this thing. We got a lot of graphs. This is not... All right, let me just show you. First panel, everyone. Why COVID death rates are rising for some groups. This is from the New York Times. I threw this story up. I don't think I put the link in the description, unfortunately, but you can find this in the New York Times. Why COVID death rates are rising for some groups. The overall rate for COVID-19 deaths has declined since vaccines became widely available in April. Yet, nearly 250,000 people in the U.S. have died from the virus in the past 8 months. The virus is now responsible for a higher share of deaths from all causes for younger Americans and white Americans as it was before all adults were eligible for vaccines. Certain demographics, certain age groups have gotten the vaccine. Let's just show you this. This is going to be a study of looking at graphs and infographics, everyone. COVID deaths before and after universal adult vaccine eligibility. So you can see with the 65 to 84-year-olds and the 85-year-olds, these are the most heavily vaccinated groups. Their death rates have gone down dramatically. However, for the other groups, basically everyone else besides 65 and up, the death rates have gone up after the adult vaccine became available for everyone. And you can see where this information comes from. It comes from the CDC, because that's what we do on the show, everyone. We talk about legitimate news sources and legitimate data, as against to Candace Owens talking about colloidal silver. Were you here for the story yesterday about how she was recommending silver, like taking silver as a as a health supplement? Yeah, taking silver turns your skin blue. Don't believe it? Take a look. Do a quick Google, or look at the show from yesterday. All right, so this is a disturbing graph too. All right, first we got this once again showing that the groups most heavily vaccinated saw, I would even say, a significant, decrease in death rates, right? Everyone over 65 and up. Everyone else not really doing as well in getting their vaccines. And let's look at this. I saw this and I was shocked. Average daily U.S. COVID-19 deaths before and after universal adult vaccine eligibility. So just take a look at it. Back in February and March, when we all thought things were bad, when we were in lockdown, you can see the effects of the curve going down we were able to flatten the curve because of the lockdowns. The vaccinations began on December 14th, 2020. You saw the pump, you saw the peak right there after the holidays, and then people started getting vaccinated. And then Delta became dominant, and Delta, of course, being far more communicable, able to spread much more quickly. And then you start seeing the pop again, right? You saw the pop there. And now now this only goes up to December 22nd. So I'm going to guess that we're going to see a higher peak due to Omicron. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. I know that with Omicron, it's supposed to have milder symptoms. But there's a lot of unhealthy people here in the United States of America. I wouldn't be surprised if that graph, if that trend line goes back up to where we saw it just a couple of months ago. So you're asking me, Andy, you promised that you would show us county by county. Maybe I didn't say that, but I do have graphs to show you, a map to show you how counties are doing before. Well, this is primarily after the vaccination. Let's see this. This is counties where the death rate increased since the adult vaccine eligibility. Florida. Not cool, Florida. That's probably because DeSantis. Now, there are multiple factors involved here, right? There are multiple factors. Like, you could tell that there are states that didn't have mask mandates. That probably, that definitely attributed to a spike in Florida that you see right there, because Governor DeSantis, of course, was anti-mask. You can see similar situations in Kentucky and West Virginia. Now, what's interesting to note, you see Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, parts of, a good portion of New York State, the populated areas of New York State. Basically, the COVID death rates did not increase after the adult vaccine eligibility, after, the vaccine became eligible for all adults. But there's a lot of red there in the country. Those counties where they had large increases in the death rate after the vaccine became eligible. And we know why. One, of course, is because their governors didn't want mask mandates. And two, people just didn't want to get the vaccine. Now, here are the counties where the death rates went down. Here we go. So, of course, the larger green spike means that the rate of death decreased more significantly. So it's interesting that you see, look at Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Nebraska. I mean, there are significant counties that I was surprised at, that went down. It doesn't mean that they don't have problems. You can see Florida right there. Florida is like consistently in the trouble bubble right there. But you see the Northeast with Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York City, New Jersey, all of those areas. The death rate decreased significantly. I thought you would find that interesting. And here's one other interesting note from this article. In recent months, data from the CDC shows that the vaccination gap has narrowed. White people are now less likely than Asians and Hispanics to be vaccinated. Though white people are still somewhat more likely than Black people to get vaccinated. And their death rates have risen in all but the oldest age groups. So actually, if you go to this article in the New York Times, you will actually see demographically, in terms of Black, Hispanic, Asian, how their death rates have increased or decreased with the vaccine. It's an interesting piece, and I suggest you take a look at it. Checking out the chat. Well, this is true, Learning Bug, and glad to see that you're buzzing here this morning. Florida in the trouble bubble is cliche at this point. It is. It really is. Did you see the video that I dropped last night? Jack Maturka and I covered a couple of stories. I dropped one 3-minute short yesterday. It was about a story that you would think came from Florida about a woman biting another woman in a dog park, but it wasn't. It was in Germany. Wow. Denmark, Blazing Wizard Pope, who is in Denmark. Denmark just hit 158,000 sick. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm caught up with everyone in the chat. And it's hard to believe, but this is the end of the show. Wow. 25 minutes has flown, everyone. Let's see one last cat video before putting a bow on this thing. That's high art, because that's what we do on this show. All right. Once again, there's no ads on this show. You'll notice I can't put ads. I don't want to subject you to ads. So thank you, patrons, YouTube members, people who donate via Venmo, PayPal. Is greatly appreciated. You're the ones supporting the show. I'm going to drop the thank you video, and then I'm going to see you at 9:30 for the open room for the after party after show, everyone. Take care.